into it to give a really natural effect.
I felt physically old, so that I couldn't walk fast. I couldn't climb stairs fast. And I know it was psychological, but it was something that I didn't have to worry about working at as an actor. I think I even felt sorry for myself. I remember I went into a room and started screaming in order to get my voice hoarse. And after doing that for about 15 minutes, I wandered down to the set, though the set was on location in an old folks veterans hospital, and they had the real patients on either side in the beds. And while they were setting up, I started to talk to a patient, a real patient, and I asked him, "How old are you?" And he said 92, I think. And I said, "Well, I'm 95. And he said, "Well," he says, "I'll catch you yet." And the crew, I looked out of the corner of my eye, and they were giggling and laughing in a good-natured way at the episode because they realized I was carrying it off.
I get a lot of letters from people who want to know how you become a makeup artist. I always try to write back because it's pretty hard to become a makeup artist nowadays. I was lucky. I first got interested in makeup when I was a young college student, and I found a book on the subject, and it started me off on a real lark. I started making myself up, whenever I had the free time, as some monster from the films, Frankenstein, Jekyll and Hyde, the werewolf, and so forth. And each time I'd go out and I'd scare some of my classmates and have fun with it. And I wasn't serious about it. Along came World War II, and it wasn't until after that, when I got out in 1945, that I thought I would try to become a makeup artist. So after many attempts, I was lucky. I got a start at NBC when I was just about 23 in June of 1945. And I was the first one to work steadily in TV.
Smith now does most of his work for feature films, such as The Godfather.
Brando's life mask is probably the only clean one I've got, because Marlon really didn't want to get into a complicated makeup. He didn't want to wear appliances and sit for 2 or 3 hours in the makeup room. Can't really blame him, so we worked together on it, and we did some tests, and I worked out a way of aging him, in about an hour and a quarter, just using something we call old age stipple. I'll show you how it worked on Brando's skin by doing some on my own hand. We stipple it on. That's where it gets its name. And then stretch the skin. I'll do that by bending my hand and dry it with a hairdryer. The more layers you put on, the deeper the wrinkled effect. We'll see how one layer works. There we go. That's not bad. By the way, you're not seeing things. I am missing a finger. Lost it on a film job. Marlon was in his early 40s and was supposed to be around 60 for the role. I found that about 2 coats of stipple gave him the necessary texture. And when he had to be 10 years older, I went to 4 coats. Of course, stipple only does part of the job. Over the stipple goes shadows, freckles, liver spots, darkness around the eyes. Then Brando's hair had to be grayed, his eyebrows. The teeth had to be made up, darkened and aged. And then, of course, since we couldn't put jowls on the outside, we used what we call a dental plumper. This is, of course, made to order to fit Brando. Fits around his lower teeth. And it has these blobs of plastic here, which I fitted in his mouth to bulge out the right places. Of course, it doesn't fit me, but you get an idea. had great awe for makeup artists. I worshipped Jack Pierce. He was the guy that created the original Frankenstein monster. And I thought makeup artists were fantastic. And I didn't think I had much artistic talent. I did sketch a little bit. I did make models and things like that. I liked to work with my hands. And I did enjoy this magical thing of makeup. But it was several years before I really ever considered trying to do it seriously. And it was, again, years as a professional before I really felt that I was going to be a good professional. And now that I think I am pretty good, I still think back about, kind of how far I've come, and I just enjoy even the simple tasks that I do well. I mean, even just making a plaster mold, curling a mustache, simple things that I'm an expert at now. Of course, the really great joy of being a makeup artist, and this is something that I've felt from the very beginning of my practice of makeup to this day, and will always, is what I might call the Dr. Frankenstein complex. What you really are doing, you see, when you do a extensive character makeup, is that with art, with craft, with raw materials, you actually create a new human being. Of course, you do this over the face of an actor, but often the change is so tremendous that the original identity of the actor is totally lost. And what emerges as you apply your layers of materials and as you finally get to that magical stage where you apply the first layer of grease paint, which blends all this artifice together, suddenly there is developed a new face, a new being, and it comes alive. And that's why I call it the Dr. Frankenstein thing, because suddenly your creature takes on life, and you really feel kind of godlike that you've really created this creature, and it's very exciting. People who can't get up before dawn, people who like 9-to-5 jobs, who like regular lives, would hate the film business. But I like the craziness. I like the creativity and the challenge. I like the unexpected, the not knowing what's around the corner.